Aloha, everyone. It's Dr. Heather Tucker coming to you with another episode of Wisdom Wednesdays. So, what we're going to talk about today is something that's near and dear to my heart. It really, near and dear to my heart. This is exactly what we're going to talk about. Heart wounds, right? A lot of times we go through life and we experience trauma, or we experience so many situations and circumstances that make us feel heartbroken, make us feel not good enough, or whether it's a loss or whether it's a gain. There's a lot of grieving in the world right now. And so if you're struggling with the desire to, or the overwhelm or difficulty in intimate relationships, stay tuned to the end of this video because this is going to be really powerful for you. So we think that a lot of times it might be other people that are the problem, right? Other people are the problem. I'm not doing anything wrong. And what happens a lot of times is, your heart may say one thing and your mind may say another thing, and they're not on the same accord. So what does that do? It creates conflicts. It creates confusion. It creates the desire to lash out, right? Because a lot of times we don't know what's really going on. So if you don't have a piece of paper, make sure you take out a piece of paper right now. Because the first thing I want you to write down is that heart wounds create blind spots. Heart wounds create blind spots. So sometimes when we're not aware, right, or we're not aware of what's going on, things can come out of nowhere that we don't even necessarily expect. And this whole part about heart wounds really has a lot to do with trust, right? Trust of God, trust of self, trust of other people. And what's really being shown right now is what's going on in our intimate relationships. The world may seem like, or to someone, it may seem like, oh my gosh, Dr. Heather has it all together. Like life is perfect. And then the reality is that it has been absolutely hellacious, especially in the house this year. What was the reason for that? There's so much going on, right? A lot of people are stressed. We talked about how stress is contagious. And then in addition, we have a lot of unexpected things that are happening. Loss, grief, death, right? Not just death physically, but also death of relationships. And so a lot of times when there is the end of something, it's also the beginning of something new. And it can actually be some resistance as we're trying to step into the new, whether it was with our families or whether it's by ourselves or whether it's in our company, right? So these heart wounds, and a lot of times boils down to trust issues. And I know for me, I grew up with a lot of trust issues and I didn't understand where they came from. And it was really difficult to be in intimate relationships because of those trust issues. And now on this journey, right, after opening the box and peeling back the layers of figuring out what's going on, I recognize exactly where my trust issues came from, exactly how they impacted all relationships, and exactly how they can impact now. And a lot of times it's almost like opening up Pandora's box. I was talking with my husband yesterday, and we were talking about, I was telling him how, I did a video a couple weeks ago, I was talking about how life is a melody and there's these hills and valleys and the song will change and there's different chapters and dynamics. And whereas a lot of times we don't want to see the deeper things that are going on. But what happens when we don't pay attention to the deeper things that are going on, or go that down there? Things will stay the same or get worse. So opening up Pandora, or the things that we don't want to see, we probably put in like a little box maybe in our mind. And it's almost like opening up Pandora's box. Well, if we open up the box, my husband said, Well, you never know what melody is going to play. And that is very, very true. We don't know what's under the hood. And the thing is, if we open up the box, we have these melodies to play, it's this stuff that comes out. But if we don't open up the box and go deeper, what will happen? Things will stay the same, or things could possibly get worse. So yes, while heart wounds may create blind spots, that is not the know all and end all. There is a power in actually going and doing the work, the inner work within, because it's the inner conflict. It's the inner conflict between the mind, body, and soul that creates the stagnation on the path to success and achieving the goals that we desire. So my question for you, right, the one thing I want you to think about is, what are the heart wounds that are preventing my success? Where am I blaming other people for what's going on? And where is that within me? Okay, so I'll give you an example. Perfect example had to do when I was pregnant with my daughter. I knew that there was a lot of trust issues that were going on between me and my husband. And I had asked for counseling to be able to, let's break through these things. You come from a different world. I come from a different world. And he was like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, years later, like a year and a half later, the deep internal trust issues that he had and that I had also have been ignited, right? Do we feel like we had each other's best interests at heart? We both felt like that we couldn't trust the other person, and we also both felt like the other person was sabotaging us. Well, going back and recognizing, oh, wait, this same feeling is in me, right? The same feeling is in him. If I resolve the feeling in me and I resolve what's going on within me, it actually opens up to be able to allow him to be able to resolve what's going on within him too. What am I telling you? What does this mean? We have so many people that are getting separated, getting divorced, going their separate ways, saying, I'm just done. I want to give up. I almost gave up myself. Yet, I clearly heard God say, remain. And I'm like, why? And now I see why. Because there's so much glory on the other side of the things that we had to work through. And it's just like the same thing for you too. Knowing that life is a melody, knowing that we don't have to have a great past to have a great future, it really comes down to forgiveness, healing, living in a place of love. And then when you can't trust the people around you, well, that's not where you should put your trust anyway. Where should your trust go? Your trust should go in God, whatever that means for you. And when you stay strong and stay solid in your faith and you still continue to rise up, then I promise you, everything else will change around you. Going back to last Wednesday, we had talked about being the lighthouse, being the light in the midst of the darkness. And when we become the light, the dark is mad about it. And you know what? That's okay. Because what it's doing is it's triggering the light within them to be able to shine. So do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, right? Because God is with you. You're never alone. And the reality is, if you allow him to be able to heal the wounds of your heart, it will open you up to receive more love, more passion, more connection, more desire, greater than you could ever imagine. If I hadn't have gone through it, then I wouldn't know the power of what this can do. So it's about becoming the change that you wish to see in the world. And it really starts with healing the mind, body, and soul, right? Our heart wounds as well as our mind wounds are the biggest things that can prevent us from being totally successful, standing fully in our power, and leading with momentum, ease, and energy all day, every day, all day, every day. Okay, so this is hopefully something that's been pretty good for you. Again, What are the heart wounds that you've had that you want to be able to uncover, to unload? What will all, first of all, or lastly, what will all this do for you? This will allow you to be able to step into your voice, to stand in your power, to express yourself unapologetically, voicing your vision, even when maybe before you were scared to. Because this is also that part about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and stepping into all that you've been called to be. And it's beautiful how everything changes around you. When you become the peace, you create the peace in the chaos. If you want to know more about this, make sure that you go to our website, anotherlevelliving.com. Go ahead and sign up for your complimentary Life Harmony Clarity Call, and we can be able to get you to the life that you always wanted, the life that you've been called to live. No, God didn't call us to be in struggle. God didn't call us to be in strife. What happens is we go through struggle, we go through strife, and it's all about how we see it. And the reason why we go through those things is so therefore we can grow through them and overcome them to be able to support other people in overcoming it too. If you're listening to this message, I'm sure that you have a big calling. So let's get started, because there is no time to waste. With everything going on, it is now time to step into everything that you've been called to be fully. All right, I look forward to seeing you again next time. Have an amazing, amazing day. Make sure you let me know in the comments below. What was your biggest takeaway from this message? And how are you going to take steps to make the change that you desire to see? All right, peace.